Lena Aguilar's nights began with the amber glow of the dispatch console and the slow unfurling of city static. She worked the graveyard shift for Starline Taxis, an outfit that still kept a human voice between rider and driver. The computer offered GPS dots, but it was Lena who answered the phone, keyed a cab, and listened while people decided, in breathless urgency or lazy drawl, where they needed to go at 2 o'clock IEM. The first call that really lodged in her mind was unremarkable on the surface. A man with a pinched voice wanted a cab at the corner of Worth and Delaney. Black Crown Victoria, Unit 314. She radioed, fingers gliding over the worn key. The caller hung up without a thank you. Nothing new there, but Lena had heard something under his words. A distant siren that didn't rise and fall like an ambulance or police cruiser. It was steadier, like a mechanical shriek threading the call. She shrugged it off. City background, maybe a construction site, but she jotted a note on her pad anyway. Something about the tone itched the back of her mind. 20 minutes later, her police scanner app pinged. An anonymous 911 call had reported a break-in at a closed recycling plant 4 blocks from Worth and Delaney. Dispatch described, alarms triggered, same metallic scream Lena had heard. She flipped back to her note. Her caller had rung in maybe 2 minutes before the burglary report. Coincidence, she told herself. The city never slept. Noise traveled fast. 2 nights later, a woman asked for a pickup outside the Riverview condos. Her voice was husky, throat tight like she'd been shouting. She kept repeating the address, adding, "I'll wait by the south gate." Behind her words, Lena caught a muffled pop. Then another. She pictured champagne corks, but there was no laughter, no music. Just that pop, the intake of the woman's breath, and the hiss of traffic. Lena dispatched Unit 4141. Driver Malik joked in return, "Copy, boss lady, hope she tips." But 15 minutes later, he radioed back in a whisper, "Arrived Riverview South Gate. No rider. There's a lot of blood on the pavement." Sirens howled in the distance now, the unstructured wail she recognized as police. Malik stammered that officers were taping off the entrance and waving him around. Again, Lena checked the time. The woman's call had come 3, maybe 4 minutes before that burst of activity on the scanner. Shots fired, possible homicide at Riverview condos. She didn't sleep after her shift. She sat awake in her kitchenette, replaying the recorded calls through cheap earbuds. The taxi company had to keep recordings for liability, angry riders, fare disputes, so they were easy enough to access. And the recycling plant. Call, she isolated the alarm, boosting the gain until it buzzed like an insect in her ear. Same pitch, same urgency as the building alarm on the police feed. For the Riverview recording, she layered the pops, slowed them. Gunshots, no question. Between those pops and the woman's frantic whisper, she could also hear something metallic sliding, like a zip tie being tightened. First the alarm, then the gunshots, 2 separate incidents linked by one dispatcher's headset. What did it mean? Lena wasn't a cop. Her job was to be polite, get the address right, and make sure drivers and riders found each other. Any deeper involvement invited headaches, witness statements, maybe subpoenas. She'd seen coworkers burn out chasing city tragedies that weren't theirs to solve. And yet, on her next break, she printed both call logs and brought them to Corrigan, the shift supervisor. Corrigan had served in the Navy and fancied himself unflappable, but his eyes flickered when she explained the timeline. "So the calls came before the crimes?" he said, drumming his fingers. "Could be hoaxers, kids pranking us at 911. "Then why pick a taxi?" she asked. "Why not call the cops directly, brag about it?" And they gave normal ride details, no trolling, no accent faking. Corrigan sighed. "Let the police handle policing. We get a subpoena, we'll give them the files." That was his final word. He slipped the printouts into an unlabeled drawer, maybe trash, maybe later. Lena returned to her console unsettled. A week passed with nothing unusual. She told herself to forget it, but every time the phone rang, she braced for violence hiding in the quiet places. Her ears became sonar, the air above a caller's shoulders, the hum of elevators, the soft burble of water cooling. It grew exhausting. Friday night, a call came from a blocked number. The voice was low, male, gloved and calm. "Pick up at 11th and Alder. white building, rear alley. Lena typed, repeated the address. As she confirmed, she heard in the background a rhythmic creak wood against metal, as accompanied by faint panicked breathing. She thought of someone swinging, pushing, or being pulled. Then a squeal, animal or human, impossible to tell. "Do you have a callback number, sir?" Click. Deadline. Unit 28 was closest. She hesitated, staring at the map. The alley behind 11th and Alder bordered the River District's abandoned pier warehouses. No real residences. Why call a cab there? She dispatched anyway, but added a driver note. Caller hung up. Be cautious. Possible wrong number. Standard protocol, though she prayed the driver would abort if things looked hinky. 5 minutes later, her map showed 208 idling. She hailed the driver, Carlo. "See anyone?" Carlo sounded distracted. "Nah, empty alley, smells like low tide and piss." A pause. "Wait, hold on," his radio crackled. "I think I see a door open, some kind of storage room." Static. "Carlo?" Lena leaned forward. "If you feel unsafe, leave." More static. Then Carlo again. "All right, I'm bailing, heading to next fare." Relief fluttered through her, but seconds later her scanner screamed. Priority 1, officers to 11th and Alder. Suspicious fire reported, possible fatality. The dispatcher described smoke from a warehouse loft. Fire engines roared. Lena worked the rest of the shift in a numb haze. She wanted to call Corrigan at home, wanted him to hear the mast creak and panic breaths, but she already knew the answer. Not our lane. Saturday afternoon, eyes gritty from sleeplessness, she walked to the River District. Tourists snapped photos of rusted cranes. Teenagers skated under "Don't Enter" signs. Yellow tape cordoned off the warehouse behind Alder. Charred timbers, black windows. A detective scribbled notes while a forensics team carried out a sealed stretcher. She turned away, heart banging. The victim's family would learn soon enough. But Lena already knew one small, ugly thing. Seconds before death, that victim's sounds reached her headset. That night, she replayed all 3 calls, lining them up on her laptop's audio editor. It felt like letting ghosts overlap in one waveform. Alarm wail. Gunshots. Swinging rope and fire crackle. She boosted the frequencies, playing with filters. At high gain, beneath each crime's unique noise, ran a common whisper she hadn't noticed before, too faint. Now isolation revealed it. 9 slow notes, like someone humming a lullaby off-key. Da-dum, da-dum, the deddy-dum-dum-dee. The same signature buried in every call, a sound fingerprint. Someone was patching that audio live or pre-recorded into ordinary taxi requests. Why? To mark them? To broadcast? To toy with anyone who might listen twice? There were only a few institutions guaranteed to record every phone line, 911 centers, some corporate switchboards, and Starline taxis. Her stomach lurched. Was the caller testing dispatch systems? If so, she was part of an experiment. She needed law enforcement, but not the patrol officers corralling cabbies. She needed someone willing to chase a half-heard melody. Through an old study buddy, she reached Detective Serena Voigt, Violent Crimes. They met Monday morning at a diner near precinct headquarters. Voigt was younger than Lena expected. Mid-30s, hair clipped tight. "Walk me through it," Voigt said, fishing a recorder from her pocket. Lena spread documents, call logs, timestamps, her audio edits on the sticky tabletop. Voigt listened with the forensic calm of a surgeon. Twice she asked to replay the lullaby segment. Her brow furrowed. "My tech guys love puzzles," she murmured. "But this could be pure coincidence. People hum, city noises overlap." "Coincidences don't forecast crime scenes," Lena countered. Voigt tapped a pen. "Your company might have dozens of calls per minute. 3 overlapping ambient sounds in 2 weeks isn't statistically impossible." Lena opened her mouth, closed it. She felt like a conspiracy theorist, waving printouts of UFOs. Voigt softened. "I'll pull the case files. If the timeline aligns, we'll chat again." She slid her card across the table. "Meanwhile, keep your recorder rolling. Any new calls, save them. Don't confront the caller." That night, Lena returned to work, clutching Voigt's card like a rabbit foot. Halfway through the shift, the console rang. "Starline, where can we pick you up?" A man answered. Corner of Maple and 7th, ASAP. Lena's skin prickled. Same low timbre as the alder call. Your name, sir? Foster. A pause. I'll be waiting outside the bookstore. She marked Unit 122, then kept him talking, stalling to capture background. Are you headed home or catching a late show? Foster exhaled. Just home. And there it was. Da-dump, da-dump, da-deen, ghosted under his breath, louder than before, deliberate. Lena felt ice crawl along her neck. Thank you, she said, voice even. She pressed stop on her recorder, then rapidly forwarded the call log to Detective Voigt. 11 minutes later, her scanner lit. Shots fired. Arson attempt at Maple and 7th. Serenity Books. Route timing identical. Lena watched the map. Unit 122 halted 2 blocks away. The driver must have seen the cruisers. Voigt called her cell at 4:00 a.m. It's real, she said without greeting. Your lullaby is on a security camera too. Our suspect sings it while entering the store sprinkling accelerant. Did he hail the cab? He's masked in the footage. Could be. We found your driver, gave a description. 5'10", gray hoodie, black duffel, nothing else. Voigt inhaled, voice tight. We might have a serial arsonist escalating to homicide. Keep monitoring calls. We'll place a tap on Starline's incoming lines. She muttered orders to someone in the background, then returned. And Lena? Good work. But be careful. The next 48 hours blurred. Tech teams cloned the dispatch server, installing splitters so police could listen live. Corrigan grumbled about privacy, but corporate legal signed off under emergency order. Foster, or whatever his name, didn't ring during that stretch. Lena fielded normal drunks, airport runs, early risers. She started flinching at lullabies on coffee shop speakers, even the ice cream truck. Day 3, as dawn's first smear crept over the city, the console chimed again. Starline taxi, where can we send the next available cab? Silence. Hello? Do you need a pickup? A childlike giggle spilled through the handset. Then the lullaby, louder than ever, full of static. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dee-dum-dum-dee. Lena's pulse hammered. She fumbled, toggling the conference key that piped calls to the police tap. A second voice slap, mechanical, overrode the giggle. North Pier, Warehouse 12, bring a van. Name? Lena whispered. No answer. The line clicked off. Warehouse 12 sat 3 blocks from the Alder fire site. Voigt was notified instantly. Squad cars scrambled. Lena watched the city map populate with blue icons converging on the pier. She couldn't concentrate on new calls. Her mind staged horrors, hostages, traps, bombs. She imagined Foster watching cruisers swarm, amused. The lullaby felt like an invocation, pulling darkness toward anything that heard it. Half an hour later, Voigt phoned. Wind whipped her words. We found 2 bound victims in Warehouse 12, alive. Her tone vibrated with adrenaline. He left minutes before we got there. Your call saved them. Relief flooded Lena. She sagged in her chair. But he's escalating, Voigt added, taunting us. We need to flip the script. Days passed, no further contact. Police analysis produced a profile. Male, late 20s to 40s. Organized, mobile, enjoyed proximity to water and industrial sites. Audio forensics speculated he used a mixer, patching pre-recorded ambience over live calls. Voigt met Lena again, this time at the precinct. We'd like to deputize you in a sense. Keep dispatching like normal. If he calls, prolong the conversation, get him to confirm details or slip up. Lena's stomach roiled, but she nodded. She wasn't brave, she told herself, just the unlucky ear he'd chosen. The plan went live Thursday. Detectives sat in an unmarked van outside Starline HQ, gear humming. Lena returned to her console, palms sweaty. A fresh digital patch routed her mic to law enforcement the instant she pressed a foot switch. Midnight. 1 a.m. 2. Nothing. At 3:12, the phone rang. Unknown number. She inhaled, foot switch down. Starline taxi. A whisper. Pick up Sanford Hotel. Back entrance. She recognized the low tone, but something quavered beneath it. Excitement. She nodded to the surveillance camera overhead, signaling Voigt. Certainly, sir. Can I get a name? Pause. Marvin. Fake. She knew it. And destination? To the river. A chilling phrasing. Which part of the river, Marvin? It's long, a soft chuckle. Shuffling sounds, maybe luggage being dragged. Then the lullaby hummed in short, uneven bursts, like he was pacing. You like music? She asked, trying to keep him engaged. Comforting, he replied. You record calls, don't you, Lena? Her blood iced. He had never used her name before. She glanced at the van on her street monitor. Nothing to do but keep him talking. It's standard policy, she said, voice steady. Good. I want you to listen. The lullaby again, but now overlaid with water-slapping pilings, seagulls, distant horns. Riverfront live feed. Voight's voice crackled in her earpiece. Stay calm. Trace is running. Lena swallowed. Tell me what I'm hearing, Marvin. A confession song, he murmured. Tonight the river gets two. In the background, muffled bleating, human-gagged sounds. She stiffened. Who? She asked. All the ones who ride but never arrive. A beep indicated he'd activated speakerphone. Faint sobs leaked through. Voight. Dragged time. But Lena sensed if Marvin ended the call now, the victims died. She needed to anchor him. Your melody, she began. It sticks in my head. Where's it from? Silence. Then, surprisingly, he answered, voice softer. School recital, 3rd grade. My mother clapped. First and last time. What happened after? She prodded gently. She left. The word trembled with old wounds. You kept the song. It keeps me, he whispered. Voight murmured. Trace locked. Pier 39 maintenance building. Units rolled. Lena pictured sirens racing but heard none. Yet on the call. Good. Silent approach. Marvin, she said. Stay on the line till your cab arrives. I'll make sure the driver finds you. He laughed, higher pitch now. No drivers, only water. His breathing quickened. Footsteps on metal stairs echoed. Lena needed a wedge, something personal. She said, My mother left too. That wasn't true. Her mom lived in Phoenix. But truth was irrelevant. Loneliness recognizes itself. Footsteps slowed. Did she? Yes, Lena lied. She promised ice cream, never came back. I kept the smell of her perfume like you kept the song. Air rasped over the microphone. Steady, listening. Behind that rasp, Lena caught a new sound. A clicking ratchet. The unmistakable spin of duct tape roll. She imagined Marvin binding wrists. Which perfume? He asked quietly. Lena's mind raced. Lilac Fields, she blurted, recalling an ad jingle. Smelled like spring rain. A long sigh. Lilac. He repeated the word as if tasting it. Voight. Teams entering building. Lena clenched her fists, kept her voice calm. I still have the empty bottle. Why hold on? Marvin asked. To remind me not everyone who leaves meant to hurt me. She exhaled softly. Maybe your mom couldn't stay. Maybe she had her own demons. Metal clanged, sharper now, like a door kicked. Marvin's breathing hitched. They're here, he hissed. Stay with me, Lena wanted to plead, but the line went dead. Silence devoured the console. She stared at the waveform still glowing on her screen, pulse thudding. Minutes crawled until Voight's voice finally came through her headset. Suspect in custody. 2 victims alive, minor injuries. No officers hurt. Lena sagged, tears surprising her. She muted her mic and wept quietly amid the hum of computers and the faint smell of instant coffee. The aftermath unfolded in rapid-fire news cycles. Police press conference about the lullaby arsonist, true crime podcast speculating on motives, tabloids splashing Lena's name. Though she asked to remain anonymous, Starline offered her a bonus and a forced vacation. She took 3 days, sitting in her apartment with curtains drawn, trying to scrub the lullaby from her mind. Voight visited on the 4th evening. She brought takeout and an update. Marvin Foster, real name Julian Miro, was a former audio tech contractor who'd serviced numerous corporate phone systems, including Starline's, months earlier. While installing new Voight boards, he'd embedded a back door letting him reroute incoming calls through his mixer. That's how he injected ambient crime noises and his lullaby signature into legitimate dispatch traffic without detection. For Julian, the city's phone lines were a stage, every siren, every echo, a note in his private symphony of fear. Your instincts saved people, Voight told her. Take pride in that. Lena toyed with a carton of lo mein. I still hear him humming, not when I'm awake, when I try to sleep. Voight nodded. Trauma's not polite, it lingers. They ate in companionable silence. Outside, the city buzzed. Cars, distant trains, a lone saxophone on the corner. Ordinary noises reclaiming the dark. Before leaving, Voight asked, Will you go back to dispatch? Lena considered the flicker of guilt that came with each ring now, the fear of missing some coded plea. I think I have to, she said at last. Someone has to listen. A week later, she resumed her shift. The console glowed, patient. First call, a business traveler from the airport. Second, a college kid too drunk to drive. Backgrounds held nothing but yawns and traffic, the sweet, benign dullness of a city simply alive. Midnight rolled past. Lena leaned back, letting the ambient static wash over her head. Set no lullabies, no gunshots, no alarms. Just life, messy and harmless. She breathed, keyed a cab, and smiled into the phone.